Hey, welcome to the Watch and Whisper channel. This is G Butterfly, and I'm going to review Belle Collective Season 2, Episode 6. Well, the episode starts with Tambra standing up, look like they were outside somewhere, she and Damon. And she's talking to Damon about the allegation of him having an emotional connection to Tysha, who is Letitia's friend. She says she believed Damon, 100%. You know how I am. I never meet a stranger, and sometimes that gets me in trouble. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what the hell does that mean? He did not answer her when she asked, did he have an emotional connection? He never said he didn't. He kind of talked around it and then said, you know how that gets me in trouble sometimes. I say, you know what? You didn't answer the question, Damon. So I don't know why his response is a little shaky to me. Now, y'all know I have my notes. I got to read over them. So when you see me looking down like that, you know I'm looking at my notes. When Tambra said, I believe him 100%, when they were sitting in the confessionals, you have to watch it, even if you have to go back and rewind it. When she said, I believe him 100%, he did a quick little smirk and he pulled it back in really quick. But in my mind, I'm thinking, His face showed exactly what he was thinking, and he thought, I got her right there. I said, oh, I can't wait for the rest of the season to play out so we can see how this is going to turn out. Because still to this point, Tambra has not had a conversation with Tysha. Just Tysha spoke with Letitia, then Letitia spoke with Tambra. Now Tambra speaking with Damon, who everybody else in town seemed to know him as Goonie, or Grossy, or Greedy, or something to that effect. So Marie is meeting Latrice and Letitia for lunch. And Glendale, we found out that that's Glen's name, confronted her in the parking lot of whichever restaurant they were going to. She accused him of following her, and he was like, yeah, you got me acting all out of character. I'm out here following you. I don't do that. Basically because she wasn't answering his phone calls. She's saying, you got people following me. And he was like, no, that's for protection. And Letitia later said that Jackson, Mississippi is a very dangerous town. He said if he has somebody following her, it's just for her protection. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Is he really having somebody follow her for protection, or is he having somebody follow her because he doesn't believe what she says? And he seems to have an issue when she doesn't answer the phone. Well, he doesn't like this new Letitia, and she was just telling him, I'm not that same woman you married. I'm not that 18-year-old girl anymore. While they were in the parking lot fussing, going back and forth, you know, his hand this way, her hand that way, while Latrice was standing in the cut looking like, ooh. You know, she's standing there, and I know she was doing it out of concern, but I think it was a little bitty piece of nosiness too. I like Latrice. So he speed off like a fool in the parking lot. Looked like he had a Charger or some kind of car. But I'm like, why are you going that fast in a parking lot? You make yourself look like a fool, Glen, or Glendale, as Latrice says. So Marie and Letitia and Latrice are sitting in the restaurant, and Letitia is excited because all three ladies are actually sitting out together. After Marie and Latrice seemingly have kind of put their situation just on pause, kind of like Contessa and Heavenly, just kind of put it on pause. And that's what Marie said, I'm not saying we friends. And Latrice quickly said, that's right. So I think they're not friends. They're just going to agree to be cordial and can be in the same space with each other without causing a scene. And actually, Marie is the one who normally causes scenes, not Latrice. So Gucci and JJ are talking about their life together. So Gucci introduced us to her daughter, Dee, who's 6 months pregnant, and she has a son named Mike. And it sounded like she said Mike Hall or Mike Hill or something to that effect. She said his last name. And she also mentioned that JJ has 3 daughters. Now, if you saw my very first episode of my first review of episode 1 of season 2, I talked about JJ. JJ is from the reality show Dancing Dolls with Coach D out of Jackson, Mississippi. And his 3 daughters dance with D, son Jay, Sky, and Star. But if you watch the end of this episode, they actually show the girls talking to So Gucci, because So Gucci said that she and JJ have been together about 15 years, and Star and Sky ought to be about maybe 19. So she's probably been with their dad, to what capacity we don't know, been with their dad for quite a while, but they've only been married about 4 years, and they really want her daughter Dee to get out the house. They say they want to have freedom to do what they want to do because all their kids are grown, and they just want to, do their own thing in their house. And I said, I can understand that. So Gucci told JJ that she's working with Latrice, I guess, to try to help her find some property. And I think it's going to be a commercial property. So they're trying to work together to see how that's going to work. She mentioned to JJ that Glen is supposed to have an outside child. And JJ was like, excuse me, well, you know what? I haven't met Glen, but I would like to meet him and like to hear his side of the story, because there's always another side to the story. You know, people always, in his opinion, always just assume that the man is doing something wrong. He was like, you know, but I would like to give the brother a chance to hear what he has to say. And so he said he's going to plan something for the guys, which I think is a good thing. Sometimes when we have these ensemble casts and it's about mainly the women, I kind of like to see the husbands get together and do a little something. So it's Josh's 7th birthday party, and they have his party at a place called Pump It Up. Now, this is what I found kind of strange. Letitia seemed like she was already irritated when she got to the party and she was holding the cake. I guess it was a Spider-Man theme, because I think Josh had on a Spider-Man costume and he had a Spider-Man cake. Well, she was complaining because she said Glen had the cake and she wished she would have brought the cake because it kind of slid to the side. And it was like a 10-inch, maybe 2 or 3 layer cake. And you could tell it slid a little bit, but it was not covering Joshua's entire name. It just like touched the alphabets, but she seemed like she was really worked up. But I'm assuming it wasn't about the cake. It was about everything else that's going on with her and Glen. As the episode went on, it appeared that when he came to the parking lot of her luncheon, that was the same day of the event for Josh's birthday party. So she blamed Glen for that. And she called to ask Glen where was he, and he roughly told her, I'm in traffic. And Glen had Josh in a car with him. So at what point did she get the cake from Glen? So that part was a little confusing to me, or maybe just the way that production cut up the scene. Now both parents agree that their son is smart enough to know that something is going on between them. So they try to hold their composure when they're with each other. But I think they probably need to go to counseling, just kind of work out what the issues really are, so that they can decide if they want to be together, separate, whatever they want to do. Because obviously they are not doing a good job and not showing their emotions and getting into it in front of the son. So Marie brings her daughter, which looks like she's about maybe 8 or 9 years old. Letitia calls Glen a dumbass. I forgot what he did. She just called him a dumbass. And I was like, that was kind of random. But again, this could just be how production cut up the scenes. So Glen offers to help Letitia with the cake. And she said, oh no, Latrice is helping me. So he was kind of standing there. But this is when Glen kind of got on my nerve, because it seemed like he was intentionally doing and saying things to get under Letitia's skin. And Latrice was there. And Latrice tried to be a buffer with all of the little shenanigans the two had going, because they was kind of going at it back and forth. And Glen was standing back, just kind of gloating, having just a little smug look on his face. And whenever it would kind of go left, Latrice would say something to kind of bring it back to the purpose while they were there, which is Josh's birthday party. So Latrice and Glen exchanged pleasantries, but you can tell it was tense, and they really wasn't feeling each other. And Latrice said that Letitia is her girl. If she hear anything out of pocket about Glen, she going straight to her and tell her, look at this ball, it's a mess. So Latrice's face was very, very stiff when she kept telling Glen, I'm not going to let you embarrass me. She was like this, I am not going to let you embarrass me. I'm not going to let you embarrass me. I'm not going to let you embarrass me. But her face said, fool, get out of my goddamn sight, because you're pissing me off. That's what her face said, but her words say, I'm not going to let you embarrass me. See how straight my face is? That's how hers. She did the dead look, as my sons call it. My sons say that I've perfected the dead look. They laugh. We have an internal joke about that. All right, but they still end up getting into it at the baby's birthday party. They were going at it back and forth so tough that Marie had to intervene, Latrice, and also Cliff, who is Latrice's husband. Basically, Cliff was like, look, this is the baby's birthday party. Whatever issues y'all have going on, y'all need to really squash that, figure out what y'all gonna do, but this is not the time nor the place. Marie and Alkeisha have a play date for Zane and Ford, and they're close in age. And Alkeisha, I get the lady's name wrong, and I'm so sorry about that. I always try to say people's name right. She said that she had her children late in life, so that's why her son is the same age as Marie's grandson. Now, is she as old as Marie? I don't think so, but she still may be a mom that became a mom at a later age. Now, did anyone notice the tattoo on Marie's chest and kind of went like under her breast flap? I was like, what in the world? What can somebody, if you saw it, somebody try to tell me what that tattoo was? I couldn't figure it out. It looks very strange to me. They both agreed that they had a really good time with each other. They were discussing just being a parent, the death of Zane's mom, and also discussing Marie's health issues, which is her lupus. So, but they agreed that they had a really good time, and they wanted to meet up together again to get the boys together, because the boys seemed like they had a really good time together. And it was so cute when they met up and they got to hug, and I'm like, oh, that was so sweet. So the guys go on a fishing trip. Now this was a good scene because it showed the guys just being guys. And that's what I really liked. Now, Arkisha husband, his name is Willie. He's from, I think, the Bronx, New York. I think that's where he's from, or Brooklyn, the Bronx, somewhere. So he's a real city guy. So he said when he needed to go fishing and got the invite, he was like, I got to go get me some fishing gear. I don't have any fishing gear. So he went and he came with like a little vest and a shirt. And I think he had a hat on. I don't even remember, but you could tell he was trying, but that really wasn't his thing. But he was open to going, meeting the guys and just having a good time. But again, he seemed like he was kind of out of place. When Glen was asked if the child that's rumored to be his, if the child had any of his features, he said, everyone black has a big nose. Glen, go lay down somewhere with that old dumb ass remark, because all you were doing was deflecting. He said he's already seen this child. He said the child isn't his, but it's just the way he talked about it, because he did confess to having a relationship, and he said he knew he was wrong about that. But just the way he talked about it, I'm like, it just seemed like it's something more with this with Glen. And Glen has been getting on my nerve like the last 2 or 3 episodes. No, this is 3 episodes. It hasn't been the last 2. I don't know. But Glen, you're getting on my nerves. He said JJ had a pig snout when he was saying that everybody that's black has a big nose. But he said JJ had a pig snout. Why that kind of made me laugh a little bit. Even JJ kind of doubled over and laughed. But I thought it was kind of funny, just in my opinion. I know it was just a joke though. JJ said that men should have a spare tire. Basically saying he have a woman on the side in case the main woman not doing something right. I say, JJ, you need to go take a nap too. Now, Cliff, he said he wasn't worried about no spare tires and having all that. Cliff just said, you know what, I'm just going to get me a whole new car. In other words, he's saying if things are not working out and it's not going well, he's just not going to go and cheat on his wife. They're going to dissolve and he's just going to go ahead and get somebody else. And that's a very mature approach versus cheating, bringing pain and sorrow to somebody else's life. JJ said that there was a rumor that Cliff had slept with his ex-wife 23 years ago. I said, I wonder, was that Selena? Because that's about the age Sanjay ought to be, about 22, 23, 24, somewhere in that range. And anyone who watched Dancing Dolls knew that Selena was their mom. So I wonder if that's who's JJ referring to. The ladies meet, and it was Tambra, Melanie, Letitia, and Latrice, Alkeisha, and Soguchi. They all meet up because Tambra wanted them to just have a powwow, kind of talk some of the issues out, and just discuss what's going on in the friend group. Latrice said that Tambra is a walking contradiction. Tambra said that she did not tell the ladies that Alkeisha was shady, but that she can throw shade. I'm like, Tambra, what's the difference? You just doing a play on words, and those ladies were not falling for it, and they were just making sure that you took accountability for what you said. Now, Alkeisha got all up in her feelings because Marie didn't invite her to her rebirth party, but she invited Latrice, who she had a very tumultuous relationship with. So she felt some kind of way because she thought that they were building a friendship. Now, it's possible the party took place before they had their little one-on-one and they were on a good place. Who knows? Alkeisha and Latrice Letitia. They go at it over the table, and you can tell this tension between them has been building. And although they met, had lunch, talked about the possible Ferris collaboration, there still had to be some type of undercurrent of I ain't feeling you, because it all bubbled over at the table. Well, that's what it's seen in, and we're going to see next week how it's going to turn out, and I'm sure it's going to be juicy. Well, that was my review of Belle Collective Season 2. I think this was episode 6. And please remember, share my videos out. Hit the like button, hit the bell so that you'll be notified when I come up with another review or just another video. Y'all, if you follow my page, you know I have all type of videos. I talk about everything. All right, well, this G Butterfly. Thank you for coming over to the Watch and Whisper channel.